Every single AI assistant asks you to explain your work. I myself copy and paste quite a lot. But this app wants to know you already. So the app I'm reviewing today is an AI assistant, and it captures everything on your screen to be able to provide the context to get the job done. That's your screen, your meetings, and all of the context around your work, and then pairs that with an AI assistant to help you perform on the job. This app's called Littlebird, and by the end of this review, you'll know whether Littlebird is the next level AI assistant or another AI tool to ignore. Today's video is sponsored by Setup. If you're interested in checking it out, you'll find a link in the description, but a little bit more about them later on. Also as well, like normal, we'll give you a discount to Littlebird if you like using it. You can find the link in the description, and I'm going to share my notes across this video. So I think Littlebird is such a weird application. So Littlebird came across my desk several times. They've been running Facebook adverts, and I've seen them so much. I feel like most productivity apps land on my Facebook ads for some reason, but I've seen it in lots of different places, and I thought I'd check it out. Now, the core concept of Littlebird is to pair an AI assistant with something that captures your screen, and there's a reason behind that. There's a big word being thrown around today called context, and it's basically the information that the AI needs to perform better. Information about what you do, how you work, how you process things and automate or operate, whatever it may be. It's the things that you typically copy and paste into ChatGPT or maybe even Claude. Well, Littlebird wants to do that for you. It wants to capture context of things you're doing in the moment. So what it does is it records the screen, but only the text parts to help bring that to life. Now, there are a few other features in it, like Hummingbird, a way to actually access the AI assistant using a keyboard command on Mac to be able to open it up and get started typing stuff in with all the context around it. It also has something called meeting notes, which you see in other apps like Granola, Fellow, and many more. All of those apps listed below if you're interested. And it also has over 90 integrations. Although it captures the context of whatever is in your window over time, naturally, integrations make it deeper and more accessible. So how does it work? I got started playing around with it. Once you go through the onboarding, you can give it access to recording your screen, which is the text element of it. If you're worried about security element, I'm just going to put some of the notes that I made from their website on screen. So apparently they're SOC 2 certified, they have the GDPR and CCPA compliance, but most importantly, they don't train the model on the data. So I did a little bit of digging on my own of how that works because I was just curious myself. And apparently it never sees minimized apps, private browser windows, or passwords. And you can pause the context collection at any time, as well as delete them for a period of time. So for example, the last hour, or maybe even a specific window of time. You can then choose what access it gives to the apps or the sites that you want in particular. And if you want to bypass some of that, you can go direct to integration, which is obviously more secure. So once I got through the onboarding, it gave me like a little bit of a flash of what context it already collected on me. It worked out what I was listening to on Spotify and also who I was and what I was working on at that point in time. Now, to be honest, I was a little bit creeped out. It was weird, the fact that within a few seconds it picked up quite a lot of information on me and then was able to use it already to pass back to me, if that makes sense. So why is something like this useful? Well, if it's collecting your meetings, it's collecting what you're doing on screen, it can then help you to contextualize the responses back. For example, if we take ChatGPT or Claude, they're not necessarily, unless you're using some of the other extensions, being able to capture what's on your screen or what's in your meeting notes, for example. It just knows what memory it's got on you and it will use whatever is in there. But Littlebird is trying to be slightly different by using the context that's in real time to be able to give you better results. Some of this context is helpful, don't get me wrong, but some of it, obviously, I used it for about an hour and it thought that I worked for 2 companies, and obviously it didn't pick up on all of the elements of that. So I think the more you use it, the more contextually accurate that's going to be over time. So let's talk a little bit about pricing. It's free and you can access it with limited abilities, and you can use up to 5 meetings a month as well as all the other features within the actual chat assistants. There's a routine area. You get limited routines in the free plan, but the concept concept is you can set daily triggers, for example, a daily briefing, which can be a combination of your Google Calendar, and you can choose from a range of them as well. The meeting feature is currently in beta, so whilst I played around with it, I didn't think it was as good as other options on the market, like Granola, Fellow, and some of the other alternatives. So this is a point of review where I say it's good or bad. I want to caveat that it's still in its early days. Before we dive into the verdict and my opinion of this application, then I think it's best to share who this is best for. I think it's really good for solo operators and creators that are sort of juggling the copy and paste context into AI. At the moment, that's a huge problem, and this sort of takes the weight out of it. It's also good for meeting-heavy professionals and Mac power users, particularly because you can then plug it in and just set and forget. Maybe those who don't necessarily want to jump into OpenClaw and just want to have that middle ground, this could be a good option for you. So now my verdict on this. So I used it for about an hour and a half, and to be honest, it wasn't a badly designed application. The experience is quite nice in terms of how it's set up, but I think you have to truly be involved in the AI for this one. For example, if you're using multiple windows or you blend personal life with professional life like I do, like for example, I'll get a text message on my laptop from my wife. It was able to detect that information pretty fast and be able to understand that context too, which also can blur the lines. But if you're using it strictly for work, for example, like you're keeping everything like super separate and you want the context to bring in, or you're open to context being merged, then that's absolutely fine. I feel like this is the step before OpenClaw, where it's very, not invasive, but a step towards being more open in privacy, but not necessarily full privacy, where OpenClaw has full access to your disk, etc. This application really felt like a combo of a time tracker and an AI chatbot with a meeting note assistant thrown in one. I don't know whether Littlebird knows what it fully is yet, and I think Lenny from Lenny's newsletter put it so well. It's really lacking its killer feature yet. And I do agree with that statement. You know, I was thinking when I was using this, actually, this application could be really good as a accountability assistant. Because it's being able to access all of the stuff you're doing, sort of having an AI accountability assistant with what you're focusing on could be really big. Because it knows what windows you're in, what apps you're on, and collectively what your goals are, because you can tweak things like memory, that could be an awesome app to have, but a very niche market. So if you want to try it out or check it out, then find a link in description. We'll give you the best discount we can find on the internet for it. You can find it linked there. But a big thank you for stopping by. Again, I'll share all the other apps I mentioned in today's video and a little bit more about setup before we head off. Quick question, how many individual subscriptions are you paying for right now on your Mac device? Because there is actually a smarter way. Setup is a marketplace with hundreds of hand-picked Mac apps. You can buy just the ones you need, or you can get a membership with access to all of them. Clean My Mac keeps your system fast, Bartender declutters your menu bar, Al Dente Pro protects your battery, and there's total budget control. You can pick what works for your workflow without overpaying for apps you don't use. Setup is offering an extended 30-day trial. Links right in the top of the description. Check it out there. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.